Hello there. Change through trade. In relation to Beijing, the West followed this maxim for a long time. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak calls the approach naive. China would be a challenge to our values and interests. Also, under the impression of anti-government protests in China, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has announced a change of course in relations with Beijing. The so-called golden era is over, along with a naive notion that trade would automatically lead to social and political reforms. That's what Sunak said in his first foreign policy speech on Monday evening. China poses a systemic challenge to our values and interests, Sunak said. The head of government said that the more authoritarian China became, the greater the challenge. At the same time, he warned against rhetoric like in the Cold War. Of course, we cannot ignore China's importance on international issues, on global economic stability, or on issues like climate change, Sunak said. Together with allies such as the USA, Canada, Australia, and Japan, Great Britain must accept this intensifying competition. A lot of this revolves around dramatically improving our resilience, particularly our economic security, the Prime Minister said. Sunak also pledged to reinvigorate relations with the EU to jointly address issues such as security and migration. However, there is no way back after Brexit. We will never conform to EU law under my leadership, said Sunak. After the British newspaper Sunday Times reported last week that Britain was aiming for a similar relationship with the EU as Switzerland, the government had publicly rejected the idea. A government spokesman called the report clearly untrue. Brexit means that the country will never have to return to the principle of freedom of movement or make unnecessary payments to the EU. They were never unnecessary, by the way. Despite the clear rejection of the Swiss model, the government under Prime Minister Sunak wants to significantly improve relations with the EU. Because the country has its back against the wall economically, and the British Central Bank blames Brexit to a large extent. And I'm wearing the fitting stuff again from my very first collection. Brexit means Brexit, and it will stay for quite some time. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.